Like school, e-learning.
And this is an integrated speaking academic task. So with this one, you're integrating or joining a piece of information, a bit of a reading assignment for homework or a bulletin or something, and then you're listening to a lecture given by a professor. And you have to join those or integrate those together to make one speaking script. And this academic task asks us to talk about learned helplessness. And learned helplessness is basically when after a long time of bad things happening to you, you learn to believe that you are helpless or you are unable to be helped. You are not able to stop any of the bad things from happening to you. You're not able to escape. And this happens over a period of time of being constantly abused. And abused, there are many different types of abuse. There's child abuse, where a parent or a guardian, which is somebody who is in charge of your children. It either could be a parent or a grandparent, or if those both of the parent and grandparent are dead, maybe an aunt, but somebody who's in charge of taking care of the child. That when the guardian either hits or is really, really mean to, that's called emotional abuse. There's also mental abuse. There's also sexual abuse. So there's all these different types of abuse that happen within families, but also, you know, just generally, that cause a person to learn to believe that they are unable to stop these things from happening. So, as I said here, we're talking about abusive relationships. A relationship where one person is abusing or harming the other one, and learned helplessness. Abusive relationships is causes people to learn that they are helpless. Now, in order to start this speaking script, we first need to know what we're talking about. So the first thing we should do is define learned helplessness. And so here I have a short version. It's a psychological condition, meaning it's in your head, it's in your mind, when a person who is exposed to unpleasant experiences in the past, and these unpleasant experiences can be abuse, but also it can be, you know, people who grew up in a war-torn country, or people who have a father who is, you know, abusive, or, you know, any sort of experience that could be characterized as unpleasant. And if it happens again and again and again, especially when you're young and you are unable to stop it, you learn to, that you do not have a defense, that you are unable to stop it, so you will learn to have no defense in the future. Because as a child, you do not have any control of what is happening to you. And so you believe that you have no control. And even when you're an adult, when you should have control, when you should be able to, you know, make somebody stop harming you or at least escape, you learn that you are not able to do that. And it's a psychological condition. It's not that you can't physically run away or you can't physically stop somebody from hitting you, but you believe you can't. It's all about believing what you can and can do. The lecture is given by a professor who is talking about learned helplessness in abusive relationships. And he gives an example of learned helplessness. He gives a woman as an example. So we are asked to apply learned helplessness to abusive relationships, where in the past somebody was abused, and they're going to continue that belief that they have no control over their abuse into the present. And this example is a woman who, when she was a girl, when she was a child, she was abused by her guardian. As I said, a guardian is somebody who is meant to watch and take care of your children. And as a child, she could not stop this. She just couldn't because she was young and smaller. So she learned to believe that she could do nothing to stop it. And she took this belief and she carried it with her to adulthood, meaning when she was adult, she still believed that she could do nothing to stop it. So as a woman, she believes she is still helpless, so she finds herself in another abusive relationship when she should be able to at least escape. Even if she can't stop the abuse, she could at least escape. So she believes she is still helpless. And the professor concludes his lecture by saying that if you believe you are a victim, you will always be a victim. So it's all about your head. It's all about what you believe you are. And as a child, of course, you cannot control the abuse that is happening to you, but as an adult, you should be able to. And so if you believe that you are unable to defend yourself or to stop the person from hitting you or run away, then you really can't. So I am going to use this as my conclusion. I'm going to use the definition of learned helplessness as my introduction. That's how I like to start it. I like to say, define our terms, make sure the listener and I are on the same page. And then I'm going to apply learned helplessness to abusive relationships by pointing out that in the past, if you are abused, you're likely to be abused in the present if you have learned to be helpless. Then I will highlight the example as a key point to give my definition more meaning, or to clarify my definition. And then I'm going to continue and say that if you believe you're a victim is somebody who has bad things happen to you. If you are abused, you are a victim. If you are murdered, you're a victim. If it's a very dangerous person to be because you don't have any control. But if you believe you are, if you believe that something is always bad happening to you and you can't control it, then you will be a victim because you are likely to get in an abusive relationship again. Now, they're not saying that if you're abused in the past, you're always going to be abused in the future. They're saying that some people who are abused in the past learn to be helpless. They're beaten down so much that they learn that they cannot control it, even when they really can. So that's how my structure is, my speaking is structured in this academic task. So take a look.